works. We're all here now. So how about if I call this meeting to order? 10:30. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Looking at adoption of the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda for May 11th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then motion carries. All right, so this is a public hearing to be held on our final fiscal year 2023 expenditure budget. And at this time, I will open the meeting for May 11th, 2023 at 10:32 a.m. And it's for the purpose of the public to review this expenditure budget. And do we have any public there?
No, we do not.
All right. All right, Erin, do you want to go ahead with your information?
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Remendini. Appreciate you taking time out of your morning to be here today to finalize this FY23 budget and get it in a timely manner and meet all of our deadlines. One thing that I do want to make note of, and I do apologize in advance, on the summary pages, there's 2 pages. One is the top of the summary page. For some reason, some numbers didn't carry through for the 2022 and 2023 ADM numbers. So those have since been updated. FY22 on the sheet you have has 1150.2806. That should be 1170.1241 for FY22. And then in FY23, the number you have is 1155. It should be 1096.0935. So I'll get a copy out of that to you. It doesn't impact any other numbers that you see. It's not going to impact our budget capacity or anything. Just for some reason, the formula didn't pull through from another page where I entered those numbers. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. But we did have an increase in our M&O budget capacity since we adopted the budget, which we knew was going to happen. When we did the AFR, we thought we had quite a carry forward of about 2.8 million from the prior year, which was greater than what we had anticipated. We also had an increase in tuition from our feeder districts, which was just shy of about $360,000. That was due to a slight increase in students. Remember that with tuition, you bill on current year expenditures, but it's based on prior year student count. So that all gets finalized late July after I've already calculated tuition numbers and proposed the budget. So that's why we had a little change there. And then we also had quite a bit of charges in special education. So in the ESS charges, we had to charge for, speech and psychology, OT, PT, those kinds of things. So that always increases the amount that we're getting in, but it helps offset the amount that we're paying out for those services. We did have a decrease in our overall budget from what we initially proposed. We just didn't get the numbers in students that we had anticipated, so we were down slightly on that. So thank goodness for that high carry forward to carry us through. I do anticipate a very similar carry forward to FY24, which is great because we did give an increase, a minimum of a 7% increase to all staff, our existing staff. We also adjusted our classified guide with a minimum salary or hourly rate, I should say, of $15 per hour, as well as all of our other placement guides. So that's going to help with that. We also had a health insurance increase of about 7% going into FY24, so that will help with that. And then with the new tuition laws coming in, where we're no longer going to have the tuition from our 03 districts, for that we won't have that revenue next year. We'll have to count those kids as open enrollment, which is less than what we would get through tuition. So that will help with that. And then we also won't get that reimbursement for those special services that I was just talking about with the OT, the PT, the private placement. So I feel very fortunate that we will have that carry forward because we will use quite a bit of it just for those reasons. We also just had a very slight increase in our DAA budget of about $270,000. Mainly that was due for a couple of reasons. One, every year we've always been a little bit shy in our M&O budget, so I've always taken a little bit from our DAA budget and shifted it over to our M&O just to increase that capacity. I typically do between $100,000 and $150,000. So I had shifted $150,000 from DAA to M&O, but I'm moving that back to DAA on this revision. And then we also had just that slight increase in tuition revenue and a little bit of extra carry forward from the prior year. So that's what increased that just slightly, like I said, that $270,000. So those are the kind of the big highlights of this revised budget. Are there any questions I can answer?
I have one question.
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay, on page 13, line 2, it says instructional improvement, and it's a 524.5% increase. Could you tell me what that is?
Well, so page 13 for you, we'll play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get into where you're looking at. So because my page number is different than yours, so let me take a look. You said on page 13 of your attachment?
Mm-hmm. Line 2.
Yeah, it's the last page in our attachments, the last page.
Yeah, the very last page.
Sorry. Let me get into this. Let me look at a different page. Well, usually it's just from the extra revenues. So these are just budgeted numbers. They're not going to be what we actually spend. That will come on the AFR. So it looks like we had quite the increase in instructional improvement funding, and that in the budget. So I think in prior we just got more money. A lot of that just comes from gaming money. And so when we get more taxes and gaming money, we get more revenues from that. So, and we haven't actually used that fund. We're planning to use it next year. So it was just an additional revenues that we received.
Okay, it was just such a huge increase. I'm going, wow, where'd this come from?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, thank you.
The table says it's budget, so it's budgeted expenditures. It's not what's actually spent there. No.
Correct. So we had more budget come into that, so we are able to budget more in that fund. And so yeah, so when the AFR comes out in October, you'll actually see what the expenditures were. So this is just what we have the funds available to budget in that line. That would be the amount that we have available to budget. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what we're going to spend, but what we have.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. All right, so at this, I will close public hearing for FY23 expenditure budget at 10:40 a.m. Moving along to see public feedback, and we all know what that means. Need a motion.
Okay. To approve the budget, is that what you're looking for?
Yes, please.
Okay. I move to approve the budget presented on May 11th, 2023.
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that motion carries. Thank you, everybody. And
Thank you. And can I just say one more thing? If you can stop in, I'll have the budget up front at Casey's desk for signatures. If you can stop in and sign, that'd be great.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank Thank you.
All
All
right.
right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank
Second.
you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now at 40. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.